Yo, what's going on YouTube family? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be working on my 2004 Subaru STI. There's a few things on this car that really need to be done. One of them is changing the brakes. So I'll be doing new pads, and if these rotors have enough life left on them, I'll be getting the brake rotors turned and then reinstalling everything. The second thing is the ABS light is on and the brake light is on. So that leads me to believe I have a bad ABS sensor. I want to say it is this ABS sensor right here, just because the fact that I know something happened here. Obviously we got some pretty gnarly damage on the fender, and that wheel is actually bent as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and swap out that ABS sensor on this side, and hopefully that fixes the problem. If not, I'll probably bring the car in somewhere, get it scanned, get the ABS system or the brake system scanned, and see if I can figure out what ABS sensor is causing that ABS and brake light to stay on. The brake pads I'm using are nothing special. They are just like some OE replacement pads. If you guys want to pick these up, I'll have them linked down below. I'm doing front and rear. First thing you need to do when changing brakes on a car is obviously pull off the wheels. You have to pull off the calipers. Actually, you don't need to pull off the calipers on an STI if you're doing just pads, but being that I'm doing rotors as well, you're gonna need to pull off the rotors. So let me show you how to go about that. Enjoy the vlog, guys. So to get the brake caliper unbolted from the hub, there is a bolt right here, which is the 19mm, and one on the bottom as well. This bolt feels like it's about to strip out in the caliper, which is a very common problem with Brembo brakes. I hope I can get it out though without stripping it out. So the bottom one's coming out fine, top one not so much. I have a feeling this is gonna strip out, which is not a big deal. It's just gonna take a while to fix the threads on it using a helicoil kit. I've had to do it before. It is a pain in the butt, but if it happens, what do you do? I'm gonna try to squirt some WD-40 on it. Maybe it'll help, maybe it won't. It's worth a shot. So as you guys can see, that bolt took pretty much all the threads with it. So that will definitely have to be helicoiled, which sucks, but oh well. All right. Now to get the brake rotor off. If it's stuck on the hub, you can thread a bolt in. This one's already loose, so you can pull it right off. And that's how you do the fronts. Rear, same concept. I believe the bolts are a 17mm instead of a 19mm. Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about. This rotor right here is stuck to the hub. So I got this 8mm by 1.25 bolt. As you can see, it threads in there. Then I'm just gonna drive this in, and this is gonna push against the hub, pulling that rotor off. Now that we got both front rotors off, we can go ahead and measure them, make sure they are within spec of turning. So brand new, these rotors, the thickness right here is 30mm. The service limit is 28mm. So what you do, grab a set of calipers and measure the thickness. Let's see, this one is like literally right at 30mm. These have never been turned, that's for sure. This one is probably the same. This one's pretty much right at 30mm as well. Check that out. So they're definitely within limit to get turned. That's awesome. That's gonna save me a bunch of money. I could probably turn these twice. So this time and one more time after that, and then I'd have to replace them. So far we have one stripped out hole on that caliper and one stripped out hole on that caliper. Let's hope and pray that the rears go good.
Yeah, look at that bounce, boy.
Both rear calipers came off without any struggle whatsoever, so we don't have to thread anything there. Now we need to measure these rear rotors. Minimum thickness on these is 18mm. And looks like we are well above 19 mil. So let's run in, get these things turned real quick, come back, rethread the two front holes, and then get the new pads on, rotors on, then we can swap out the ABS sensor. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and rethread these front calipers real quick. The two holes that are both in good condition and all the holes on the rear calipers, I am gonna tap them out just to make sure they're nice and clean. And when I go put the bolts back in, I'm gonna grease them, just so this does not happen again. So the thread size for the front bolts is the M12 by 1.5. That is the helicoil size kit you need. It's pretty simple to do. Let me walk you through it. So as you can see on the top of this package, it says drill size is a 31/64. So we're gonna drill the ruined hole out to that size, and then we're gonna tap it with this supplied tap, and then we're gonna thread in the helicoil into the caliper, and we'll have new threads. Pretty cool stuff. All right, so we got the caliper drilled out. I started on 4 sizes smaller and slowly worked my way up, just so the hole stays completely centered. You don't want to off center whatsoever. Next thing to do, grab this tap right here, and we're gonna tap the hole. I'd highly recommend using some grease of some sort to help rethread that hole. I can't seem to find any grease at the moment, so I'm gonna try WD-40. I've never tried WD-40 when tapping before, so let's hope it works. So just like that, we have new threads in the caliper. Now we can grab our helicoil, thread the helicoil in, and we are done. I'd recommend cleaning the threads out, blowing them out or something beforehand. Five, 10 minutes later, we got ourselves some new threads. We're good to go. I'm going to tap out that bottom hole, and then I'm gonna run these two caliper bolts through a die as well, just to clean up these threads. Let me show you guys the power of a die. A die is what I'm running these bolts through. Here is a bolt before with a bunch of calipers still stuck to it. I'm gonna run it through a die and show you guys how it looks. And there's how the threads look after. 100% perfect, good to go, no need to replace. All of the calipers are finished, ready to go. Let's go ahead and replace these brake pads. So to get the pads out, there is a little cotter pin right here and one right there holding these pins in. These pins right here go through the caliper and through the brake pads, holding the brake pads in. So as soon as you pull this cotter pin out and pull and slide that pin out, the pads will drop out of there. The next thing we need to do is get the pistons back inside the caliper all the way. What I like to do is use a C-clamp and this rag right here to protect the coating on the caliper, and just clamp the piston back in to the caliper. It's very, very easy to do. Make sure you pull the reservoir cap and make sure it's not overflowing, because when you're pushing these pistons back into the caliper, it's pushing fluid back up into the reservoir, which is under the hood. So just keep an eye on that. Make sure you're not pushing fluid out the reservoir. So that is what it should look like when you have the pistons pushed all the way in. Now we can take our new pads, get them on the caliper, just the reverse of pulling those off. You're gonna slide them in there and put the pins through. Make sure you get this guy back on, and then we can get the rotor on, and we're done. All right, guys, all of the brakes on the car are done. Next thing I'm gonna do is swap out this ABS sensor. I think that is the problem we are having on this car. There is a 12 mil bolt down there holding the sensor to the hub, 12 mil bolt right there holding it to the strut, and then a wiring clip under there. Two 12 mils right there holding it to the body of the car. I'm gonna get it swapped out, and hopefully those lights go off. But other than that, we're pretty much good to go. I gotta throw the wheels back on, and we should be done. The car is all done. I'm gonna go on a drive, make sure the brakes are good to go, and let's hope the ABS and the brake light are both off as well. That'd be really freaking nice. One thing you guys need to do before you go drive the car, since we push the pistons all the way back into the caliper, when you first get in the car, your brake pedal is gonna go all the way to the floor. Make sure you pump the brakes before you go drive the car, or else when you go to stop, you're not gonna have any brakes. Well guys, the brakes work absolutely perfect. I'm super hyped on those. It always does take a little bit for the new pads and rotors to like break in together, so expect them to not to catch perfectly right away. The next things to do on this car, on my little mission to like make this the perfect OEM stock STI for starters, that's my whole goal with the car right now. What do we got next? We got to retint the front windows because they're kind of bubbling up right here. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera. The front windshield is cracked. I'm gonna get that replaced. The headlights need to be buffed, replace the fender, and do a full cut and buff on the car, and then ceramic coat it as well. What else we got to do? I think that's about it to make it like 100% stock, 100% perfect OEM 2004 STI. That'd be dope. From there, obviously we're gonna do other stuff as well, but for starters, I just want to make this the perfect OEM stock car. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video right here. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. New brakes and new ABS sensor is on the car. The ABS and brake light are both still on, but I think it may take a bit for them to go off, provided that was a sensor that was bad. Let's hope and pray there. I guess I'll update you guys in a future vlog, but hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, go down below and smash that subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Peace out. I will see you guys tomorrow.